On April 22, 2016, the quiet rural roads of Pike County, Ohio, became the scene of one of the most shocking family massacres in modern American history. 8 of the members of the Rhoden family were brutally murdered, their deaths leaving the community stunned and searching for answers. The Wagner family, Angela, her husband George, known as Billy, along with their sons, George the Fourth, who I'm gonna nickname Georgie in this episode, and Jake. This family had long been described as controlling and paranoid. Their focus, getting full custody of Jake's young daughter, shared with one of the victims, Hanna Rhoden. Hanna reportedly refused to sign over custody. Tensions escalated, fueled not just by family disputes but also by competing businesses, marijuana sales, cockfighting operations. Investigators later concluded some of the members of the Wagner family believed that eliminating the Rhodens would remove all obstacles. This deadly plan would execute over the night of April 21st to the morning of April 22nd, effectively overnight murders that would shake Pike County to its core. At 7:49 a.m., the ex-sister-in-law of Hanna, Bobby Jo Manley, on April 22nd, went to check on the family's Union Hill Road home. Inside, 2 bodies were discovered: Christopher Rhoden and his cousin Gary Rhoden. She immediately, after finding these dead bodies, called the cops. Pike County deputies responded and found more bodies at another home on the same road. The ones of Dana Rhoden, her kids Hannah and Chris Jr. All of them were shot to death. A third home, which was a camper trailer, held the bodies of Frankie Rhoden, his fiancée Hazel Gilly. Both were murdered in bed. Their 6-month-old baby lay unharmed, still alive and covered in blood. Finally, at a residence of Left Fork Road, Kenneth Rhoden, Christopher's brother, was found dead. In total, 8 members of the Rhoden family had been murdered. 3 survived: a 4-day-old, a 6-month-old, and a 3-year-old. All of the babies were taken into the custody of the state. Sheriff Charles Reeder and Attorney General Mike DeWine called an urgent press conference warning the community that the killings appeared sophisticated and pre-planned. These were indeed executions. The extended family members of the victims were informed immediately and took care of the babies, who were still alive. The Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation quickly identified 6 suspects. 4 carried out the massacre and 2 helped cover it up. This was through communications data and useful information to link them to the massacre. They were tied to a criminal probe within the state of Ohio. George and Jake Wagner were tracked down. Jake was pulled over at a traffic stop in Ross County, Ohio. Sitting next to him in the passenger seat was Georgie, his brother. Both were arrested and taken to the Pike County Sheriff's headquarters. They were the first suspects to be identified. Then their mother, Angela Wagner, was captured during a home raid in one of her properties. She too was detained at the Pike County Sheriff's headquarters. Then later on in Kentucky, the father, Billy Wagner, was arrested in Lexington, Kentucky, at the Rood and Riddle Equine Hospital, a horse hospital. This occurred after he took a sick horse there to be treated. This horse was ultimately treated and returned to Billy's loved ones who had also been staying in Kentucky. Billy was detained at the Fayette County Sheriff's headquarters and then booked into the Fayette County Detention Center. This was before waiving extradition back to Ohio. He was afterwards picked up at the detention center by the Pike County Sheriff's Office and driven to the Pike County Jail, where he would meet his wife and two brothers, despite them not seeing each other directly. All four were initially in the same facility. Rita Newcomb, Angela's mother, and Frederica Wagner, Billy's mother, were arrested after BCI agents raided properties, capturing them, and uncovering documents being used to try to cover up the massacre. Both were taken to the Pike County Sheriff's headquarters and informed that they were being accused of obstructing by hiding the documents. Both were afterwards booked into the Pike County Jail. The BCI tied the suspects to two different criminal probes. At this point, not only one, it got split. One of them being for Billy, Angela, George, and Jake for committing the massacre, and the other one being for Rita and Frederica for obstructing. Frederica hired her own private attorney, Pablo Martinez, and the rest got court-appointed ones. Billy got Charlie Knight, Angela got Gregory Myers, Georgie got Richard Nash Jr. and John Parker, Jake got James Owens and John Corntley, and Rita got James Owens. Attorney General Mike DeWine presented the criminal probes to two different grand juries at the Pike County Court of Common Pleas. This occurred before the arrests. The grand juries both reached indictments for all 6 family members. Therefore, after unsealing the indictment, DA DeWine assigned Pike County Prosecutor Rob Junk and Special Prosecutor Angela Canepa to take them on once they got captured. And ultimately, like I explained, they were captured. So, the indictment charged Billy with 8 counts of aggravated murder, conspiracy, aggravated burglary, unlawful possession of ordnance, forgery, and evidence tampering. Angela with 8 counts of aggravated murder, conspiracy, aggravated burglary, forgery, perjury, and evidence tampering. Georgie with 8 counts of aggravated murder, conspiracy, aggravated burglary, unlawful possession of ordnance, and evidence tampering. Georgie is currently incarcerated at the Orient, Ohio Inmate Reception Center. On June 3rd, 2025, Rita, Jake, and Angela were sentenced by visiting Judge Jonathan Hine at the Pike County Court of Common Pleas. They were called up one by one to be sentenced. On this very same day, the judge delayed the trial of Billy, and he has not had his trial yet. Rita received a sentence of 5 years of probation plus a $750 fine. She as well got a 30-day suspended jail sentence, meaning she may have to serve those days if she violates the probation. Angela was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison. Jake, 32 years to life. Angela awaited transfer at the Scioto County Jail. Jake at the Gallia County Jail. Now, Angela is doing her time at the Ohio Reformatory in Marysville. Jake at the Orient Reception Center where his brother Georgie is. Georgie appealed his conviction, but in February 2025, the Chillicothe Court of Appeals, who was supposed to make a ruling, dismissed it and sent it over to the Ohio Supreme Court in Columbus. Due to the complexities of the case, the Ohio Supreme Court has also received pending appeals from Jake, Angela, and Rita. Judge Hine has refused to resentence them nor allow the withdrawal of their pleas. At this moment, one suspect remains jailed awaiting trial. One is free, one on probation, and free incarcerated as they await a decision on their appeals. The Pike County Massacre remains one of the darkest Ohio chapters, a chilling reminder of how greed, control, and paranoia can destroy lives. The court process continues, but the memories of the victims and the impact on the surviving children will linger forever.